Hello all, welcome back to the next one. In last couple of lectures we talked about setting up Mac system and Windows system both in different lectures. So before we move forward to any further lectures, I want to talk about couple of few very important things so you guys understand few of the conventions that I'm going to use. So usually in Mac systems we bring up the terminal like this, and that's mostly you're going to see. And if you are on a Windows system, what you need to do here is, so this is my Windows virtual machine. You can either just bring up your command prompt. So like in this Windows, I don't know which Windows system you might have, but you just need to type in something like command prompt, and this will bring up this kind of thing. So this should be your terminal or console, whichever you want to call it, but this is usually a console or terminal. On Windows, I usually don't use it. There are alternative programs which are a little better than the default command prompt. So I have installed this con emu. This is exactly gonna do the same thing. It is also a terminal. That's what I use on Windows. So basically these are the thing I'm gonna be using. So whenever you see this window on Mac for me on the video, you can just open a command prompt on Windows, and if you're following up on Mac, it's well and good. The other thing is, so on Windows, usually you will have the Python installed somewhere if you don't pick a custom path. Basically, when you install Python, you can pick a custom path also. So what I did is I created a folder called Python 3.4 because on my Windows I have Python 3.4 and on Mac I have Python 3.5. Basically, there's hardly any difference. So inside it, if we go here, we can see all these folders, and inside this we will see scripts. So these are the scripts that comes with Python and they help us a lot. So one of this is like pip. So pip is kind of an older version, but pip 3 is the one with the newer Python 3 version, and this is something that we're going to use a lot to install another programs on Python, and we will see those things later. But I want to tell you that I would be using a lot of pip. But whenever you see me typing pip install something, so I would be using commands like this, like pip install. So I suggest you guys to not use this. You can use pip 3, and this is the best thing to do because we are using Python 3. So I suggest all of you to use pip 3 for anything, because I'll be using like pip 3 install or pip 3 list, and I'll be getting some outputs of what programs I already have. So but what you can do here is you can use pip 3 instead of pip. That's going to be the better thing to do. So it doesn't matter which operating system you are using. If you are using Windows or Mac, both should work with pip 3. So just use pip 3 install, and this is the command, and the next thing we give is usually whatever program we are interested in. So we will say pip 3 install some program that we want to install, right? So these are the kind of things. So on Python, I just showed where are those files stored. I have already shown the location for the Mac people in the Mac setup lecture where Python 3 is installed. So that's about it. That's what I wanted to say. And actually one more thing. Yeah, mostly on my system, when I'm working on Mac, I would be initiating a virtual environment, and I would be saying, yeah, let's initiate a virtual environment or things like that. So this does not apply to Windows. The reason is on Mac, it by default comes with a Python 2.x version already installed. So we don't want to uninstall it. In addition, we install a Python 3.x version. So to keep the environment separate, we install a virtual environment, and then we work in virtual environment. So if you're working on Windows and you only have one version of Python installed, then you really do not need to worry about it. And whatever things you want to do, you will just type on the console. So on Mac, if I just say python-v, it tells me Python 2.7, right? Because that's the default thing. So what I usually do is I have the virtual environment, and Windows people, don't worry about it what I'm typing, just understand the concept. So what I would be doing is I would be doing source venv bin and activate. So this is going to activate a virtual environment, and this is how we know. And if I type the same command now, I would get Python 3.5 version, right? So this is the difference between Mac and Windows. But usually in Windows, it doesn't come with the default Python version. So what we do is we install it by ourselves, and we usually have one Python version. And I also recommend it. There's no reason to have two versions. Mac has some applications running on it, so that's why it has it. But on Windows, we don't need it. So if I just type python-v on Windows, I'll get Python 3.4.3, like the latest one, whatever I installed. So there's no need of virtual environment on Windows. So when I would be like switching between virtual environments, just do not worry about it. Just understand, because I have multiple versions, that's why I'm switching. But remaining commands after I switch to the virtual environment, to the Python 3.x version, the remaining commands stay the same. So they do not change. So you really do not have to worry about anything. Everything else is gonna stay same. So these are the few things that I want to discuss, that when you see those things, you don't get confused, and do not worry about it. If there is a separate lecture for Mac, which is only specific to Mac, I'll say it's for Mac. I'll say it in the lecture name. Basically, I'll not talk about it in the video, but I will have the lecture name like that. And if the lecture is only for Windows, it's gonna say Windows. And if the lecture doesn't say anything, it's common for both. So that's pretty obvious, right? So that's about it. I mean, you will be seeing me doing all those things, and just see the conventions. Get your hands on these terminals, consoles, command prompts. These are pretty good things. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Please feel free to let me know whenever you have any questions, and I will see you in the next lectures. Thanks.